Hey, bro. I think we're good.
We're
Oh,
live. Miles,
yeah,
how's it
man,
going,
we're on,
man?
we're on, we're on. Yeah, doing good actually, dude. Doing really good. I I'm still away at the moment, so hang on, I'm just pressing live on my Instagram. Okay, I'm here. Yeah, I'm kind of away at the moment. Um, out of our place in London. We're in Cornwall still. I was here last week, huh? But we're in a different place now. It's so beautiful. It's like a really beautiful part of the country, but nothing really goes on here. Um, so it's like I don't know. Found it quite interesting place to be because it's as far away from London as you can get. Like if you go west from London, and there are people here who are just lovely people. You know, people. It's one of those places where I don't know if you get this in Canada. In London, no one will say hello to you when you're walking on the street. Literally no one. If you do, you're weird. But in Cornwall, if you pass someone, they always say hello to you. And we were doing this with our kids. Like, we're going for a walk. And I said to them, say hi to people when you go past them. And they were like, no, don't want to do that. I was like, go on, try it. And we go back, and their kids say hello or good morning. And people always respond to a child with, oh, good morning, how are you doing? They ask them questions and stuff. And it's like in London, if you do that, someone's like, whoa, you're a weirdo, man. Like, why are you talking to my kids? It's so different. It's such a different place. And also I feel like just some people who we know down here who we hang out with, the vibe is like it doesn't feel like anyone here is trying to start a unicorn company or change the world or have like a radical impact on society. They're all just like doing their thing. They're kind to their people who live around. They're kind to old people. They like work in their community and they sort of help at their kids' soccer club or something. They're like good people. They're not like driving at aggressive change or anything like that. And there's something quite nice about it. It's quite refreshing to feel like, oh, everyone's just happy, and you don't have to be a unicorn founder to to be happy. I don't know. Do you get that in Canada?
I think it depends on where you go in Canada. Like where I'm from originally, Alberta is probably a bit closer to that vibe. People are super
Mm.
friendly, nice, saying hi. Toronto is just like everyone's on the go, right? It's like a big city. It's just everyone's on the move. They're doing their own thing. Less so than New York and other places like the Valley, I'd say, in terms of just level of intensity. I find like Toronto does have a nice balance. But we moved out, to the burbs a couple years ago, and it's been pretty pleasant. Like it's got that vibe again, where people say hello. You've got kids
Mm.
everywhere and parks and stuff, so it really suits our lifestyle. But
Mm.
yeah, man, no, it's nice to, I don't know. I mean, I spent maybe 3 months in the Valley last year for some work stuff, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It's like I definitely see the value in it and why people do it, and there's this concentration of entrepreneurs and investors and whatnot. But there's something, I don't know, that to me strikes me as a bit like just soulless. And I don't know if you've been there as of late, but in the
No.
last few years, it's been like Zombieville. Like you go to downtown San Francisco and it's like people on drugs, and like in the middle of the day on a Sunday, I remember I went for a walk and I was terrified, and I look like this. Like I should not be terrified. Like within like 10 minutes, I was back home and yeah, not feeling it.
Really?
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit of a tangent, but like I over the last like maybe 2 years, this year less so, or sorry, 2025 less so. But prior to that, I spent like literally every weekend on the road. Like I traveled to maybe 20, 25 different places, and I was itching before that to like move to go somewhere. And then I remember at the end of this whole thing, I sat down with AI and spreadsheets, and I kind of went through this whole process to figure out like where, like, okay, if you want to optimize for taxes and safety and opportunity and this and that, where would I want to live? Is it Dubai? Is it San Francisco? And I literally came in and I'd been to every one of those cities over the course of that year or two, like 25 of them, Singapore, you name it. And after doing this whole exercise, AI was like, you should live in Toronto. It's like, oh shit, okay. Maybe I just gotta stop like searching. Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know if you picked up, maybe you just pick up, I don't know, it depends how much you scroll on social media, what your algorithm says, but there's a whole vibe on the internet about how terrible London is and how awful the UK is and how it's like a kind of third state ISIS like
Oh yeah, I've
location in
heard
the
it.
world.
I've heard it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there any truth to that, or is it more just internet fluff?
maybe there is some truth to it, but there's some kind of warfare going on against the UK because my wife read this article by the Polish ambassador, the ambassador for Poland, who just left the UK after 5 years in the UK. He wrote this lovely article in one of our leading sort of right-wing magazines, and it was lovely. He was saying the only people who are down on the UK are people in the UK. There's no one more down on the UK than British people. And then he went through this whole list of things about why the UK is actually a great place to live. He's like, your economy is the 6th biggest in the world. It's not that bad. It's pretty good. He said your financial services industry is bigger than the whole of like Denmark, Norway, and Sweden all put together, just financial services. And then he went into like the crime figures and stuff like that and was like, it's actually not that bad. You're not Rule Britannia ruling the waves anymore, but it's actually not as bad as an ISIS like satellite state. I'm sure that stuff is, I mean, I'm like anti that sort of stuff anyway, for sure. And I think there should be a bit more control around that. I don't know. Just, I don't want to get into like immigration because we're both immigrants, but I feel like I feel like that stuff is a problem in our country and people are like a bit scared of it, but it's not as bad as the internet will tell. Like a lot of our friends in Asia are like, well, I would never go to London now. Don't you just get robbed as soon as you leave the tube station? You're like, no, I've been in London for like 4 months. I've not been robbed yet. So like, it's not that bad. And yeah, but I mean, it's definitely not a bad place to live in London. It's like a good concentrated place, but there are other places in the UK which I think you could have the benefits of a British life and access to the city, but still not live in London. But dude, do you see my other note on this? I don't even know how you're going to comment on this, but I put in our notes, Sonny helped Miles with mindset when building and being in the in-between stage. I just
Yeah,
like
yeah, I did
that.
see that. But you want to expand on it a bit? Like, I mean, I was just talking to a buddy yesterday about a similar topic, so I think I might have some bullet points to share. But you want to maybe,
yeah. I mean,
like, where are you with your journey? Because I mean, what you showed me last time was fire.
Well, the thing is, I feel like I've done some okay stuff in my life, but when you look back, I mean, I just sold my business this time last year, like 13 months ago, not for loads of money, just for like enough to buy me some time, basically. And that was out of a sort of construction entrepreneur kind of business. I think that's what you kind of call it in North America. It's like a trades gas engineering business, right? Domestic one. And like I made like really decent money doing that. And I really enjoyed when I worked with my hands. Like I wasn't always on tools, but like I would sometimes be, and particularly in the beginning of the business. But having done that, and now I've left that because I feel like I've hit my ceiling on my earning potential. And also I want to do something which delivers more value to the world. And also I want to work in Bitcoin. Really, I think that there's nothing more valuable to be working in than AI and Bitcoin at the moment. And that delivers, it's just like an inevitable thing. Like AI is inevitable, Bitcoin is inevitable. So if they're the only growing sectors in the UK, that's where I want to work in. But I just still don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just like moving in a Bitcoin direction and doing stuff like this is like, we're not really sure what the value of doing a podcast like this is. But for me, it's just, I know this is the right direction for me. Like I definitely want to go in this place where there's some momentum. But some days you wake up and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, how do you avoid that kind of doom feeling when I could go back to my old business, potentially, like if I negotiated, like they would let me in as an employee. I obviously don't want to do that. But it's like, there's something about waking up and knowing what you're doing every day that's comfortable. But there's the upside is not the same. There's not the same upside potential when you're comfortable in a, okay, let me say this and then I'll let you give some feedback. There's like being on a good path is very difficult to get off. And I was on a good path. I earned well. I had like other businesses on the side, like other income streams. And I had a lot of flexibility to be with the kids. Like that was a good path, but I don't feel like it was an excellent path. When you're on a bad path, if it's awful, it's easy to jump off that track because you know it's really bad. But when you're on a good path, like I was on a good path, I was in the middle. It was hard to get out of that. But now I'm out of it. I'm like, what have I done? I was on a great path, but when I was in it, I knew that it wasn't the path for me. So now I'm in this in between stage where I'm thinking, what am I doing? Is this the right stuff? Am I spending, like, some mornings I'll just spend my morning like creating podcast content or talking to people in a similar space to me, and I'll just be like, what have I actually achieved this morning? Nothing, like, really, on paper. I don't know. It's in that, and then you can wake up in the morning and be like, is there any point of even waking up out of bed? And then you get up and do some squats and you feel better. But I don't know. That's quite a long preamble. I don't know whether you've been in that stage before where you've finished one large stage of something and you're like, right, what's next? And you have that doomy feeling sometimes.
100%. I totally identify with that. That resonates a lot. I guess the first thing I'll say is don't take anything I say seriously. I feel like I the caveat, I have to say that just because I don't know, I can get off on these like preachy like monologues where afterwards I'm like, what am I doing? And then I also gave myself this advice a long time ago that I would never give advice unless I was like asked for it. Like, you know,
Bro,
those
I'm asking
people
you
that are
for
just like, yeah, are always like,
it.
oh my God, so much. Okay, so if I had to try and like zoom in on like the thing that I think, so you know how you have this feeling right now that maybe you're not on the right path, or that something like before you were on a good path and now you wish you had that back, a bit of you, but then you're also kind of like yearning for this next thing that you don't know what it is.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah.
So I believe that the thing doesn't precede the feeling precedes the thing. So it's now, and you think you're at this stage where you will need to first cultivate the feeling of abundance. Wherever you're going, you might not know exactly the contours of what it is, but I bet that you might know what feeling you're searching for. Like, once you're doing fill in the blank, I will feel complete, abundant, strong, powerful, wealthy. I don't know, whatever your things are. Like, but the thing is you need to figure out what the feeling that you're searching for is and give it to yourself now. If that makes any sense. So I know it sounds like a little bit of a like chicken or the egg type of thing, but I truly believe that. I also, the next point I wanted to make was that the feeling and the why is much greater than the how, and the how is almost irrelevant. And the more time you spend on trying to figure out the how, chances are you might be moving away from the actual goal. So the feeling is everything, and that's why I'm so gung-ho about waking up in the morning, and you said doing 10 squats or swimming or working out, because when you work out, you cannot help but feel that, right, at the end of it. And so starting your day with that feeling, in my view, is clutch. It's key. And then the third thing I'll say is that I think I've been in that same exact phase, right? Like, for some time, and I don't think it ever like, oh, it's there now and now I've figured it out. It's always like layers and layers of like uncovering. And really what you're doing is you're kind of getting to the core of who you are. See, one of my favorite quotes I came across, was it last year or something, was that first you get paid for what you do, then you get paid for what you know and who you know, and then you get paid for who you are, right?
Nice.
And I not gonna say I'm at that third level yet, but I can kind of feel myself, and I'm obviously doing that to myself to feel that, but I feel that I'm getting closer and closer to that third stage where I wake up and I'm attracting, I'm not chasing, right? And that was, I would say, my eternal struggle. Is I've got this like engineering entrepreneurial mindset, very logical, like played a lot of sports growing up. It's like, all right, there's the goal, run after it as hard as you can. There's the girl, run after, there's the business, whatever it is, like run after it. But I've since realized like running after anything is a fool's errand, mainly because when you're running and when you're chasing, the universe receives that signal, or God or Jesus or whoever. It's like they're like, oh, you like running, do you like waking up every morning and feeling confused and not knowing? Well, guess what, I'll give you more of that.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't need any more of that.
No, but it's, you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
It's like a self-fulfilling kind of prophecy. And I find the only way to kind of like, you know, shortcut this whole process is to own your morning, like I was saying before, is to have a set of, and by the way, part of now my morning routine is, you know, on my to-do list, I've got these recurring events where I need to look at my dream board. Yeah, that's a
Mm,
little bit weird and whatever, but it works, right? It works. So it's like,
mm,
okay, refresh my mind. Okay, look at my goals and where am I going? And then I also know that it's not just an intellectual exercise, it's very much a spiritual, emotional, like it's like a holistic kind of thing. And so if I'm stuck up in here, it's probably not enough. Like I've got to, again, identify in my mind with where I'm going and almost pretend as if though I'm already there.
mm,
And once I get there, wherever I'm running after, again, there's a feeling I'm chasing. The only reason I want X million dollars or whatever, is because I'm searching for a feeling. And what I'm trying to tell you is you don't need that thing to get the feeling. You can give yourself the feeling before you get the thing. And in fact,
mm,
that's
mm.
how the universe works, in my opinion. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. I think it does because I'm reading Transurfing Reality at the moment. So, like, you know, that's off your recommendation, really. So, is that a
So
vibe from Trans?
yeah, he's got a lot of it in there. For me, this big realization happened with Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's amazing. He wrote a book called Becoming Supernatural, I think. Yeah, Becoming Supernatural. Uh, but he, you know, his book is very data scientific kind of driven. It's a lot of like proving that meditation and all these, you know, visualization and things actually work. So that book was a big leap for me because while like the Bible and a lot of the raw motivational stuff is interesting, I always found like in my mind there was this big divide between science and spirituality. But it was
Mm,
Joe Dispenza that kind of pushed me over the edge and was like, dude, it's the same thing. Like, you know, like there is more science behind a lot of this stuff than you'd imagine. And so this visualization stuff, and I think I might have shared it in a past episode, but this is literally my favorite topic. So I'll talk about it, which is when you close your eyes in the morning and you visualize that final stage. Again, don't worry about the how. Is it, am I doing a business with this guy or that guy or Bitcoin or whatever?
mm,
It's more just get fixated on that end result. When you have that vision in your mind, it's the equivalent of like electrical signals being kind of like pumped throughout your brain. But then, like I said, is it's so important to feel that outcome today. And that feeling that you're feeling is literally those electrical impulses in your brain. They're giving rise to chemicals that are being released throughout your body and actually fundamentally changing the very nature of who you are. So you're actually at a, like I said, electrical, mechanical, electronic, I don't know, spiritual, scientific, quantum, at every level, you are becoming that Miles, if that makes sense, that
yeah.
version of yourself. And and the science proves it now. Like you can look inside people and be like, oh my God, he's actually transforming into that version of him. And as soon as you transform even the slightest bit into that, Miles, it's magical because now you open your eyes and you're not chasing anymore. Why? Because you just gave yourself the feeling that you're chasing after.
Yeah.
Why would you
Yeah.
chase after anything? You're like, dude, I can give myself that feeling now. And you can just rest in your kind of place of being. And I know it sounds hokey and I know it sounds like crazy, but I kid you not, with every cell in my being, I believe this to be true, is that you start to attract. And
Yeah.
the types of things that start to occur are like beyond your imagination and beyond what you would have even tried to like come up with in your brain. Like they're just beyond that, but you know that it aligns with this feeling, this new you. So that's
Yeah.
been my like life's work for the last like year or two, is like, how do I create the Sunny that will attract abundance in my life? And bro, I kid you not. I mean, so I'm just switching gears a little bit. So one of my
Yeah.
dreams, one of my visions was always, I've been doing business, business development for what, I don't know, 20 years, right? Like I mean, I do entrepreneurship, engineering, I build companies, but like at the core of what I do, you could call it business development. Um, one was I wanted to be able to wake up on a Monday morning, look at my and like click a button, and my
Mm.
calendar would fill up with an infinite number of meetings. Like I'm talking 15-minute meetings back to back to back from 8 a.m. and Monday to 5 p.m. Friday, where I'm literally just talking to people that want to talk to me about whatever it is that I'm building. If I'm raising capital for a company, I wanted to be able to just be like, click a button, boom, 100 investor meetings lined up. Or I wanted to sell a B2B SaaS product, click a button, boom, got enough. Okay, I want to partner, boom, I want to get on a podcast, whatever it is. I want to click a button and
Yeah.
bada bing, bada boom. It's all just like figured out. I won't share for long, but do you see my screen?
Yeah. It's coming. Yeah. Should I
So
full
this is
screen it or?
no, I mean, you can see it, right? I'm
Yep.
gonna stop sharing it, but dude, that was yesterday.
Dude, that's so cool. That's like
that,
packed.
that was it. That was yesterday, and that's every day, including like the day before Christmas, the day after Christmas, the day before New Year's. Like every day is like that now. But that
Mm-hmm. But
didn't
you're like
come. That didn't come
visualizing that.
first, right? The feeling came first. The hard work, the squats, the
Mm.
swimming, the waking up dreadfully early, the journaling, the blah blah blah, all that over and over and over and on repeat. And now
Mm.
I feel strongly that every day it's just like pulling it out of me. Like I'm not even trying anymore. I mean, there's obviously a level of trying because I'm like sitting here for 12 hours a day or 8 hours a day doing meetings, but the feeling is very different. Where it's like I said, it's does that make sense? I'm just
Yeah.
being who
Yeah.
I
No, you're
am, and it's
encouraging from that.
happening instead of me trying, which is I would say the biggest unlock. And I don't want to share too much, but I did start a new business, Miles. You and I should
Mm.
probably kill this podcast about 5 minutes early. I just remembered that I don't think I told you about it, but I should tell you about something I'm working on. I don't like talking too much. It's kind of early days for this project. Like we're
Okay.
just getting out of the gate, but it is exploding. It is
Oh my gosh,
exploding.
sick.
Yeah, yeah, and it might be something that that aligns with your mission. But again, I can't tell you that. Only you would know. But
Yeah.
maybe after this live stream, I'll give you a little bit of a look into what we're working on.
Mate, that sounds sick.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. I think I need to implement more of that into my mornings. Maybe it's just been a weird week for me as well because we've been away from our where we normally are. So it's like out of. Also,
Mm,
I think. Do you know what's messed me up actually as well? Just to round it off, in Cornwall where we are, it's much further west, so it gets light much later. So the sun doesn't come up until like 8:20 a.m. or something like that. It's like pitch black at 8 a.m. in the morning. So you wake up at 5, you're in darkness for like 3 hours, and you can't go running here. You can't go. There's no gyms. So I'm just doing like home workouts at the moment. And I've been doing that for like 2 weeks now. And now I'm like, I actually just want to get back to the gym, like where I can go in the dark and it's like lit up there, you know? So I do a bit of like body weight stuff and it's fine. And then I'm like, I actually want to go running, but you can't run because it's pitch black. So you have to go run with a head torch. I've done that like twice. But after a while, you're like, actually, I'm just not up for it. So in the morning, the drive to wake up kind of leaves a little bit. So I think I don't want to write it off, but it's very
No, the
helpful.
gym thing helps so much, dude. My
So
wife too.
good.
I've been trying to convince her to come to the gym, and she just decided. I think a few days ago, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna get my gym membership again. But
Mm.
that environment, right? Like when you're just,
Yeah.
I don't know, when you see others that are just in top peak performance. Like there are some of my buddies at the gym. They look like
Yeah.
movie stars, dude, and you're
Yeah.
just like, holy cow, that's possible, like for
Yeah,
normal humans. And he's like, yeah, dude, just
yeah,
work out every morning, doing it for a couple of years. Like,
yeah.
let's go, let's go.
Yeah, I love that.
Uh,
I actually feel like the gym is the least judgmental environment that you're always in because
mm,
super light obese people, super overweight people. If I see someone in the gym who's like that, I'm just like, get at it, man. That's sick that you're here. Like, that's amazing that you're in here and you're obviously miles behind that guy who looks like Superman. But it's so cool when you see someone like that. So it's this like environment of people who are getting after it. Anyway, we should like move on. I wanted to ask you, dude, about what's your guys like screen policy and stuff with the kids and like you know, even like thinking ahead to what your screen policy will be with social media. Because I don't know if you picked up, but there's like a big move against screens for kids in the UK, particularly. Australia have banned social media for over 16-year-olds. The UK are like, I got sent a petition this week to say, write to the government to say we should ban social media for under 16s. I was like, wow, this is really getting some traction here. And I think there is some movement towards, we know a few parents who are like zero screens completely. And then we also know some who like frisbee their like 3-month-old an iPad as well. And like, you know, it's like addicted from out of the womb. But there's a full range. But I just wondered what you guys did, knowing you guys are tech people, and whether you have like a policy on that or a plan in the future.
I mean, my wife and I, we are pretty hardcore, as in we don't allow any. So I mean, we've been pretty good, I'd say, in terms of, yeah, just zero screen time. Like,
Okay.
no, definitely no social media accounts, nothing like that. Our 11-year-old just got her first, what is it, iPad mini. So
Okay.
we're pretty stringent over it. Like, she's not allowed to use it on the weekdays and this and that. And so, um, but no, I would say just in general, we're like super against it. I'm against it even for myself, right? Like, so social media
Mm.
leads to like brain rot. It's so addicting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just horrible, but it can be a little fun, right? Like the YouTube shorts. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
I've got like a major addiction to those. Like whenever I've got some time, and then the
Yeah.
kids like huddle around you and they're watching and stuff. So if I'm the one controlling it, maybe they can get away with a little bit. But I definitely don't feel comfortable with like, here's an iPad, see you in a couple hours type of thing.
Yeah.
Has it happened maybe here and there, perhaps, but we try and stay away from definitely like giving them full blown kind of carte blanche, access to the internet.
Okay.
Because yeah, we have a lot of fears over it. And yeah, I think overall, like I said, social media is like a overall like negative kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Impact on especially on such a young forming mind.
Do you feel like that's unusual amongst your peer group though? Are there a lot of people, do you go
Probably.
through
Oh
these
yeah.
houses?
Everybody we see, they just hand their kid a iPad just so that they'll shut
Okay.
up type of thing. And
Mm.
um, like I said, we've been lucky, we've been fortunate, right? We also had, my wife's aunt live with us for the last year and a half. So
Okay.
while her and I are working, we've got the luxury of being able to like rely on another
Someone who
adult
can.
who's like engaging with him and taking him out for walks and to the
Mm.
park. So yeah, in that sense, but she is leaving in a couple weeks, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, but all in all, we don't believe in giving them social media. We think the
Okay.
later the better. And like I said, even for myself, I feel like I'm a victim in some ways. And
Yeah.
why would I want to put
Yeah.
my kids through that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, I think there's a lot of negativity out there. And yeah, I have noticed that there's been a big movement. And from what I'm hearing, it's almost like the younger generation that's leading it. Like it's like the kids that are like, nah, we're going to the park. We're gonna go outside.
Yeah.
We're gonna go bike riding. We're done with all this. And I think that's very positive, and I think that's perhaps the beginning of like the rest of the world, hopefully, following suit.
Yeah. No, I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's really
Yeah.
interesting.
And you guys are like,
Very similar, actually. Yeah, we I think when we had really small kids and they were all like, because they're all about 18 months or 2 years apart, our children, and so there was a period when I think we had two kids and a baby, and my wife was like praying because we didn't really watch any screens or anything with them, but my wife was praying, please, and they would watch a program and they would get bored after like 10 minutes because we would watch like retro programs that were not like fast moving, like stuff that we would watch when we were kids. But my wife was like, I actually need the kids to watch something for 20 minutes when I'm making dinner because I just can't. hold the babies and make dinner. So I actually like trained them when they were kind of 4, 2, and 0 to watch a program for 20 minutes and be like, this is your 20-minute program for the day. Please watch this. And that was like something to look forward to. And that became a thing for about a year and a half. And that was like 5 years ago now. So our oldest is 11. And then we had one holiday, and then that became our pattern for a really long time. Every day the kids watched 20 minutes of a program, and they would like get pissed if they didn't watch it. But then we had a holiday in Cornwall, actually, where we were just in a place like this. It was super outdoors. It wasn't even good weather, but you open your door and there was like a river or a lake there or something. And our kids just went out and played the whole time, and they played through their 20-minute screen time. And then when we got back from the holiday, me and my wife were just like, should we just ditch the screens completely? And then that was it. They just never came back. So it's not that we've been like really great about it. We just realized that they don't actually need it. And they're actually happy.
And screen time is it the same as TV? Because like I'm not gonna lie, we kind of consider them
I don't
different.
think.
As in,
Yeah, I
like I
think they're
know
different. Yeah.
they are, right? Just because I
Yeah, I
feel
think.
social media is way too variable. You have no idea what's going on. Like something really
Yeah.
crazy might show up on their feed. Whereas
Yeah.
TV, for example, my kids are really into Full House right now.
Oh,
Like
yeah. I
over
don't
the
know what that is.
holidays, you don't know. It's like
No.
it's like something I used to watch when I was 10. Like it
Oh,
was kind of
yeah.
like show, and it's like a super old show. Bob Saget, the guy from America's Funniest Home Videos, no?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
super,
I love
super
that.
popular show. And it was like, those olden day shows that were like wholesome, and
Yeah.
there was always like a moment at the end where like they would oh, like that stuff in the background would come up, and there'd be a lesson at
Yeah.
the end. Oh, you gotta love your
Yeah.
family or whatever it is.
No, I agree.
And I don't know, I mean, that kind of stuff I'm I guess less against, just because it's not like that brain rot type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a bit more like, oh, there's a storyline, there's some, it's a cute jokes, and it's not like vulgar. And so my kids have been
Yeah.
getting into that. Weekdays, again, no screen time, no TV, nothing. On the weekends, we're a bit more flexible. But I found that on the weekends, my girls would start like binge watching, and they would like almost be like, I don't want to go swimming, I don't want to go to the gym, because I'd rather just watch TV. And I was like, that's a problem. And so recently we put a cap of like 2 hours or an hour and a half at most, which is still a lot. And so we're trying to figure it out. We're definitely not.
No, I think that's the thing. When I heard someone saying this, when we were kids, watching something was a communal activity. Like you had to negotiate with your siblings about what to watch, because the older sibling doesn't want to watch what the younger sibling was. And it was like almost social learning through having to engage about what to watch with each other. And you would have a shared experience. If you're watching it with your sibling, you're watching it together, or if you're watching with your family, it's a shared experience, and it's not performative. So I think what has changed for kids as our kids become teenagers is that it can be very individualistic. So it's just like one child. Like we go to some friends' houses and it's like 4 kids spread around the house with iPads on in different rooms. And we're like, where are your kids? They're like, oh, they're just in their rooms, like on iPads, all watching different stuff, not having to negotiate, flicking from the one thing to the next. And then it becomes like, you don't just watch it, you actually perform to it and get feedback on your performance, like whatever you're doing, like a dance or like talking about something or explaining something or telling a joke, like whatever teenagers do on social media. It was like, that's weird to think that when we were kids, we would just watch stuff and then perform back to the TV screen. That's like a wild concept. That's what I'm super against. I mean, we like watch films with the kids, but we love going through like old content. Like, man, my kids are a bit young, but I can't wait to watch like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with my kids, because that sort of stuff, it's going to be sick.
Oh, for sure, for sure. What was it? Oh my God, I ended up watching Simpsons with my 2 daughters. The movie, and
So good.
my wife, it was so funny. The 3 of us were literally on the floor laughing every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we
But
watched
you're like enjoying that together. You're like together enjoying that experience. Like that's very different.
Yeah, but then we watched it with my wife, and I don't think anybody smiled or laughed even once, because she didn't grow up on on Simpsons, and it's not like her kind of humor at all. It can get kind of
Yeah.
it can get kind of funky, and so she was like, I don't think so. So we're not quite at Simpsons yet, or
Mm.
Seinfeld, or Fresh Prince. We're like at Full House. But yeah, that's kind of weird. What about Bitcoin, bro? What's
Yeah,
what's
gotta
what's
have a
what's
Bitcoin take.
popping in the world of Bitcoin? I mean,
You see, do you see Michael Saylor was on the What Bitcoin Did podcast?
ooh, I'm glad you brought that one up. I saw the whole
Ah,
thing.
oh,
What are your thoughts? What are
I'm
your
like an
thoughts?
hour and a half in. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
just got it. I mean, if you didn't see it, it's definitely every now and then in different sectors, there's like, oh, did you see this guy on Joe Rogan? Or it's like, oh, did you see that on Tucker Carlson or something? This is like a moment where it's like, whoa, did you see Michael Saylor on What Bitcoin Did? Because I don't know, what did you think about it, man? I heard the chat before I watched the thing, so like I had a bit of a re-up on it, but go on, tell me.
What did you think?
No, man, I haven't
Okay,
finished it
so
yet. I'm
my,
only
my
an hour in.
initial my initial I should be careful what I say because Michael Saylor, did I tell you this? This
Has he invested in one of the business?
the legend gave me a follow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, he follows 700 people.
Whoa, that's sick. No, I mean like
That's
I don't
crazy,
think I've
no?
got.
So I mean, he might be
Yeah.
watching this show right now, so I gotta be careful what I
What up,
say.
Michael? I
But
haven't got
no,
anything negative to say about Michael Saylor.
no, I don't.
I quite
I'm sorry.
enjoyed him pushing back on the guy like Danny. Like I don't really know. I didn't even know the guy's name who ran the podcast these days. Like I've listened to it a few times, but since Peter McCormack stopped doing it, I didn't even know the guy's name who ran the podcast. Even though it is a very good podcast, it's
Never
outstanding.
heard of him.
But
Never.
oh, right, yeah,
The show is old. I think there was another guy named, yeah, like you said, Peter
yeah,
McCormack, right? He's a British
yeah,
guy. He used to run it. Now this guy took over. Yeah. So my reaction, probably similar to others, when I saw the clip, like just the clip where he goes ballistic or whatever on the guy, I was a bit I was a bit turned off, like, as in, I'm like,
uh,
"Oh, like, what's going on over here?" Like, this is a different side of Sailor that we haven't
yeah,
seen, like, because you could tell like, he was irritated, right? But
yeah,
then I watched it from the beginning and kinda, like, gave him, the benefit of the doubt and just like, "Okay, I'm gonna try and see what happened here." And I felt like right off the get-go, like, right off the first question, there was this oil and water, like, total mismatch between
yeah,
the interviewer's vibe and Sailor's vibe, and I actually enjoyed the pushback. I enjoyed how he
yeah,
just literally demolished him
yeah,
verbally. I don't know if maybe it's a bit out of line, but the guy had this like cuck energy, like the interviewer, like a super, like almost he was trying to like, I gotcha, Sailor. Like, oh
yeah,
yeah, you're doing
exactly.
well, but all the others aren't, and so maybe you should be just that
Yeah,
energy and that vibe to me was a turn off. And
mm,
yeah, I don't know. I ended up coming out of the full watch like more, like just more respectful towards Sailor. But you could also tell that Sailor's human, right? He's not,
yeah,
he does get irritated, and you could probably tell that he does have a lot of pressure because um, I feel like he's not only carrying the torch for MicroStrategy, but he's got this like thing where he's like almost carrying it for all of us, like for
yeah,
Bitcoiners. Like he's always trying to
yeah,
defend Bitcoin and why everybody should be getting on the Bitcoin standard. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Sailor. Obviously,
yeah,
I think what he's doing is great. I think it's really exciting and interesting, and it's helping Bitcoin, right? Like he has almost, in the last 2 years become the face of Bitcoin.
yeah,
And I mean, there's a reason Satoshi walked away from the project. Like
yeah,
being the face of something like Bitcoin is not easy because you're going to get attacked not by just the world, right? The regulators and the entrepreneurs and all the politicians, but you're also going to get attacked by Bitcoiners, right?
yeah,
Which I think is the thing. It's like,
yeah.
what the
Like
fuck? Like I'm like on the same side as you, and you're like trying to put shade on our industry. Like, what's going on? So I enjoyed it. 2 thumbs up. Don't know if I have a lot more to share on that topic, but yeah, big fan of his work and what he's doing. I had a chance to meet him as well in person at
oh,
the
same.
Vegas. When Trump did his big thing,
Oh
just
yeah,
found myself in an elevator with him and a couple of my buddies, and he just shook his hand. Don't know him, obviously that well, but yeah, I met a couple of his team members and really cool stuff, man. Really cool stuff. Like I think what he's doing
Man.
is very, very inspiring.
Yeah. I'm interested. I've got a buddy called Robin Sayer. Have you seen him? He's like a podcaster as well. Robin, I don't know how well Robin knows him, but this guy Robin is not like an aggressive interviewer. He's just like very like asking you questions, tell me a story about Bitcoin. He's like really cool guy, quite a young guy. I want to reach out to Robin and just see what he thought of the interview, because I imagine that Robin knows Saylor like a bit. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. When I saw the clips and stuff, I thought this intense moment in the podcast obviously going to be like 1 hour in or something, but it wasn't. It was like 5 minutes in. It started intense. Less than that. It was like 3 minutes or something. So I was like, wow, this is really going for it against Bitcoin treasury companies. And you know, Saylor crushed him, but the guy didn't. Even though it sounded like he'd gone in like prepped to take this topic on, didn't have any comeback. He didn't have any like good reasons for why he was attacking treasury companies. And I can't even remember if he was, or the Saylor was just saying, I'm going to shut this down like so quickly. And I enjoyed listening to Saylor talking about electricity and adoption of electricity. You know, that whole section where he was saying it took like 70 years to, or was it 30 years to go from 5% to 70% usage of electricity in factories. So I was like, wow, that's crazy to think about that.
And for me, it hit home especially hard because, right? Like last year, I was the president of Matador, which is a
Yeah,
company that's literally following in Michael Saylor's kind of wake, right? And
yeah,
so yeah, when he was standing up for the rest of the community or like the treasury companies, I was feeling it. I was feeling it because I was like, yeah, this is good. He's like again, he's not just standing up for me, because he could have easily have taken that and said, yeah, MicroStrategy is going to crush and we're going to kill all the other treasuries and they shouldn't even be trying. And, good luck trying to catch up to us, type of thing, right?
yeah,
He could easily
yeah,
take that stance, but he's like, no, he's like, we're doing our own thing.
yeah,
These guys are building a hotel in Japan. These guys are making it so that Brazilians can get exposure to Bitcoin. And yeah, and that's kind of the play, right? So anyways, I thought that was like definitely topical. This is making the rounds on social media.
yeah,
I think you said you did like an episode on Iran and whatnot, right? But
yeah,
I'm just curious, like I just Venezuela, right? First, like gets taken down, and now a lot of people are talking about the Bitcoin that Maduro, I think, is one of the top 6 or 10 holders.
potentially, yeah,
And then, anybody that stands up against the United States, right? Whether it's like Gaddafi or Saddam or
yeah,
Maduro or whatever, like these 3-syllable leaders or whatever, they're like, what? They're all like one after another, kind of going after them. So
yeah.
I don't know. I
And
mean, I'm torn. I think Iran is an interesting one. I have a lot of friends from Iran. A lot. There's a lot of like people from Tehran, especially in Toronto. I spent 8 years in robotics. I don't know why, but like half of the control systems professors around the world happen to be from Tehran. Actually, maybe I do know why. A lot of my buddies here are. And so, but from what I know, Iran's messed up. Like there's a
yeah,
lot of negativity. And like, I mean, from what I hear from friends of mine that were born there, is that, it's tough living there. I don't know if you saw the Iranian currency versus Bitcoin over
yeah.
the last 2
Like
years or
gone to
whatever. It's
zero,
like,
basically. Yeah,
right? So I don't know. I don't know. Is now the United States going to intervene and do their thing and get into Iran and try and save everyone? I have no idea. I mean, what I do find kind of funny though is that when they asked last week about Maduro's oil, Trump's just like, I'm taking it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think we talked about that on one of the episodes, but it's like
yeah.
no more hiding, no
Having it.
more like, oh, whatever. Like this kind of stuff used to be really like, oh, let's not talk about it, but it's actually the motive. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, Trump's just like, yeah, we're going for it. We're taking the oil. We're taking the tankers. It's ours now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what does this
I
mean,
mean,
dude? I don't know. I don't know. It's like I've got my popcorn out, just here for it.
yeah. I did some research. Like, I think I was going to make an episode about Iran a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was when America like bombed like nuclear facility in Iran and hash rate went down. you remember there was that like little situation?
Yep.
And I don't know whether anyone confirmed that, but yeah, I was looking into some stuff, like reading some stuff, watching some videos, like trying to find out, and there were like genuine accounts of people saying Iran's got terrible electricity connectivity, so they would only have like electricity for like a bunch of hours every day, even when the super hot part of summer when people wanted to run AC, they couldn't, and there would be like shut down electricity, but then they'd look like in the distance and there'd be this like buzzing building on a hill like near a waterfall or something, and it's like the Iranian military and mining Bitcoin, and the electricity still switched on for them, and it was like rinsing the electricity. So it's like, what's it called, the like Iranian something guard or something like that? It's like somehow the military is super powerful in America, in Iran, and they run a load of stuff. But there's like genuine for sure military compounds mining Bitcoin and then using it as like a de facto currency around Iran. Like, what would you do if you were if you got shut down now and your family couldn't buy food? You would, your bank got shut. You would be like, right, well, I'm going to use my Bitcoin to go and find a butcher and a grocer that are going to sell me food in Bitcoin. And that's what these countries have to do. They have to be like, right, well, even if we're like tyrannical leaders, we're still going to try and like get stuff done. Even for us, even for the elites, we're going to try and like get stuff done and try and buy stuff and do trade. So I think it's for sure that Iran have got a stockpile of Bitcoin. We'd be surprised if they don't. And why would they tell anyone as well? They don't want America rolling in there and just like taking the Bitcoin like they did to Maduro or whatever they done to kidnap Maduro. They don't want anyone to do that. So I think it's potential that Bitcoin will become the new gold. Like in Second World War, countries just like Nazis were rolling into all the European countries and taking their gold reserves. Now it's like, let's see if we can go and get some Bitcoin.
I have a bit of a tangential question. Do you believe the United States is a net positive on the world or a net negative?
I would say net positive.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, no, because I mean,
Yeah.
there is, people do pause on that one. And I think I agree with you. I think overall, the United States is a force for good. Would you now go one step further and say that it has some connection to Christianity, just given that the roots of like the country are like rooted in that, like, I mean, in
Yeah,
God
in
we
European,
trust, and
yeah,
they're
in
just
European Christianity, I'd say like got exported to America and then it's its own thing now. Yeah, I mean, dude, people hate Trump in the UK, right? But just the record, I don't hate him, and I want to still be able to travel to America as well. So I don't want to do anything negative about Trump. Actually, like, really, to those people who are saying negative stuff about America, like, who would you rather be running the world? Would you rather it be Iran or Venezuela or China? Like, who do you want? Like, so just like decide like that Trump is better than any of those other places. So like, why are you having such a cry about it? Go and cry about all those other leaders. If you really want to campaign against someone who's bad, just look around. Like, it's terrible out there. We'd much rather America be running things than anywhere else.
yeah, 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 yep. So I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So mindset we touched on, money we touched on. You want to land the plane for us, like in terms of meaning? I don't know, any new insights over the last week on that front? I mean, I think Christianity, all this stuff kind of speaks to it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Any...
I'm reading a book called Bitcoin: A Glimpse of God. I should mention the author as well because he got in touch with me recently.
Nice.
He's a cool guy. Got to a section where he's saying that I mean, a lot of Christians might not wouldn't like it because it's quite woo woo, but he would look around and say, you see God in everything. God is in the water outside. He's inside of us. Like, you see a glimpse of God in the birds, a glimpse of God when you connect with other people. And he then goes on to say he actually believes that Bitcoin has a inspiration from God, and there's a glimpse of God within the Bitcoin ecosystem. And he's like, it's God's money. Like, this is the way that God would do money. So I mean, he's quite extreme in that, and I think a lot of people would think, whoa, that's like irreverent to say that sort of thing. But I've been thinking about that the last few days, and it is very amazing. The way Bitcoin was created is quite amazing, and there is some people do say, they had a dream and they had this business idea and they created this product and it was from God. Like, who knows whether Satoshi had some like inspiration from somewhere which is not himself. It's too good. Bitcoin's almost too good to have come up with by himself. Maybe he was a genius, but then there's got to be some inspiration in there to be able to create it to the level it's got to, without any marketing budget, without any team to spread it around the world. It's pretty amazing. It is almost like a little glimpse of God inspiration.
That's so beautiful. Hey, that just makes me want to ask you a question that I have around Christianity. Do you view God as being out there, or is it in here? Is it in both places? Because you said a few things in there that made me think that you have perhaps this underlying belief that, to me, I use the words universe and God interchangeably. Like, every cell on planet Earth, including the ones I'm made of, are God type of thing. Yeah. But I found when I mentioned that line of thinking to Christians, there's this what, dude, you're not God. But isn't there something about how a drop of water is I don't know, something like how it's similar to the ocean? Oh man, I'm butchering
Yeah.
quotes here, but what's your thoughts on does God just stop here, outside of my skin, and then I am something different, and therefore I am to kind of bow down, or isn't all of it God? And isn't God, yes, in Bitcoin, but also in Miles and in this conversation and in our children and in the grass? Isn't it? I don't know. Do you kind of know what I'm asking? I
Yeah,
don't even know
I
if
know
there's
what
a
you mean.
question in there. Yeah.
I think it's very complicated. I think it's a real theology question, because Christians would feel that God is up there as a big God who controls the universe, runs things, created the universe. They would also feel that when you come to know Jesus, if you decide to allow Jesus to be the God, the Lord of your life, the King, the driving seat of your life, then he comes to live inside of you. You ever heard people talk about that as well? Like the Holy Spirit comes to live. So that's a very confusing concept, actually, that God is out there but also in here. But I went to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting a few weeks ago with a friend of mine from Cornwall, and I've been no alcohol for 2 years and a bit now, and I don't feel like I definitely had a bit of an addiction to alcohol, was relying on it too much. But my friend is a full-blown alcoholic. He's been in AA for 7 or 8 years. What's so interesting about Alcoholics Anonymous is that even though it's a secular organization, the first step is to acknowledge you are an alcoholic, and the second, surrender that you have no power and that you have to give up your will to a higher power. And I was like, whoa, this is super Christian, what they're talking about, that they're all acknowledging that they have no power over their addiction, and that the only way to get free of it is to surrender their own will to a higher power. And these are people from all faiths and no faiths. Somehow they come to AA and they all get down with this higher power theory. And the one I was in, they were just calling it God, straight up. So, oh right, is this a Christian thing? And then my friend told me, yeah, she had really Christian roots. But they would probably not feel that they were God, or that they had God inside of them. They would feel like God is out there. He is a higher power that can help me with my addiction. I don't know if that answers it. I would feel like I'm probably a confusing person to talk to about it, because I would interchange the things. God is a big, powerful God, but he's also within us and inside of us. But I don't know whether I wouldn't say I am God. I would feel like he is God.
No, maybe I am God is a bit strong, but I am God-like, godly, God something, like a descendant of, connected to.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so I definitely believe that there's some unified field of infinite intelligence, right? Whether we call it God or something else. And like Wi-Fi, we've got this ability to tap into it if we so choose. And I don't know, I mean, my belief is that it's in us. Dude, life is insane. How could I have just come here out of thin air and randomly, had this conversation? You're on the other side of planet Earth. We met 10 years ago, and somehow I mean, to me, it just feels like too magical for it to be just like a bunch of molecules bumping up against each other. Yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
there's some sort of like divine intervention that all of this is, you know, chosen in some way. So, anyways, dude, we're getting
Yeah.
to the end of our
Our
thing.
time. Yeah.
Wow, these hours go by so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing this, Miles. I don't know if it's serving you
Yeah. I
as
love
much
it.
as it is me, but
Good.
you've
Love it.
really kicked me in the butt with this, and now I'm like every day I'm creating content. I see you're creating content, but this one was really the first
Yeah.
thing that I kind of committed to, and yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
No, thanks, man. Yeah. See you next week, bro.
Great episode. Yeah, you want to stick around for a few minutes?